What's up, what's up, everybody? It's Ultimate What Ifs here, and this is my first video. Like and subscribe if you want. I don't really know what to say else, but yeah, let's just get started. This is What If Deku Was the Grim Reaper? Title: Life or Death. Lies. Lies are the most beautiful thing in the world. Lies. There are many lies in this world. Some small, some big, but at the end of the road, it's all a lie, no matter what it is. A wise friend once told me, the truth hurts, doesn't it? But it doesn't kill. Lies may be pleasing, but it doesn't heal. A dark-haired boy wearing a black robe would stand over a tall building, looking over the site of Mustafu, Japan. He looked to be about 16. He would jump off the building. People would see the boy about to die. Just then, a flash of wind would pass by, capturing the boy mid-air, and he would begin to disappear. We switched scene to a bank being robbed, as the boy would be walking in. Heh, looks like it's gonna be a new snack. No. I mean, well, not, he doesn't say that, but he says, heh, heh, in a cocky tone. Looks like today is gonna be a good day. Right, Loki? A dog with two heads would stand next to the boy, barking, chains around his neck, black fur and green eyes. It would let out a devilish grin. The boy and the dog would make their way into the building, phasing through the locked door. The robbers would have 4 men inside and 2 men inside the vault grabbing money, while 4 other guys would be holding off the police. Hurry up! We don't have much time! As boom! The door of the building, the front entrance of the building would be blown up. Everywhere would be blown up in smoke, as 2 silhouettes would seem to be appeared in the smoke. One of the men would yell, "Everybody, get ready. I don't think he's here to talk." The robbers would begin to shoot at the boy and the dog, but for some reason, none of the bullets would make contact. And then the boy would begin to say, "Loki, go play." The dog would begin to growl, with a head popping out, as both and all the robbers would notice the dog had 2 heads. This dog would be a relative of Cerberus, the dog of hell, the dog that guards hell. It would have, no, not 2 heads. It'd have 3 heads, and it would have fire coming out its mouth. Don't worry about these other ones. This would be Loki. So, with fire coming out its mouth, Loki would begin to run and cause a bloodbath, instantly murdering all 3 of the other robbers, leaving 1 to live. "No! You bastard!" As the last robber would watch his friends die. In rage, he sprints, activating his power. No, his quirk. James Hurricane, age 34, gender male. Quirk, switch. Definition: being able to switch positions with people or objects to change places. The robber would then try to shoot at the boy from up close and activate his quirk, switching the bullets mid-air to hit the boy in the back of his head. The van would shoot the bullets as they wouldn't make contact still, but he tried to pull again, but he noticed that his finger was off his body, as he'd be split in half, dying instantly, as the boy's eyes would begin to glow. This is Izuku. So basically, this is what he's in this form right now. So basically, Izuku is the Grim Reaper, and he just killed this guy, and he's taking his soul. So the boy's eyes would begin to glow, and the boy's eyes would begin to glow, as the dead man corpse would leave his soul would leave his corpse and enter the boy's eye, as the boy would begin to whisper, "I spare no one, not even God himself." The camera would then break as a little mouse declaring, "Now that you see why we have to deal with this threat quickly, because it seems if too late, a lot of people will die," said the mouse named Nazu. Nazu, who's the principal of UA. Age 42. Gender male. Quirk high spec. A person would reply, this being the number 2 hero, Endeavor. "Nezu, what happened at the end of the robbery?" The number 2 hero, Endeavor, would question. "The building was destroyed to a mere pebble." Shocking the other heroes, they would begin to understand the gravity of the situation. All Might, the number 1 hero, would begin to start telling information to the other heroes about the boy, what he looks like, his characteristics, as they haven't met this version of Izuku. These are his outdoor clothes. Now they begin to capture the boy, trying to make a plan to begin to capture the boy known as the Grim Reaper. Izuku Midoriya, alias Death, nickname/title Grim Reaper, age 14, gender male, blood type -0, quirk all-in-one, Shinigami. Definition: this quirk grants the user the ability to see souls of the dead and absorb them, taking the quirks of the previous owner's soul. Also, after collecting 100,000 souls, the user ascends past a quirk, making a Shinigami. 12:03 p.m. Downtown Mustafa. A man wearing a black scarf around his neck would stand on a rooftop, on patrol of the city. Quickly, he would start to dash towards a scream. Please, please don't hurt me," a crying lady would yell for help, as but one of the 3 men would slap her. Another man would try to rip her clothes off, and he would quickly be met with a cold slice right through his arm. Not even realizing it, his arm would fall to the ground as the 2 other men would be screaming. The man with the scarf known as the underground hero, Eraserhead. Shota Aizawa, alias Eraserhead. Age 26. Gender male. Quirk Erasure. Would be looking down to see a boy who he'd identify as the Grim Reaper, holding a scythe. Walking towards the men, Aizawa would jump down, knocking the 3 men out swiftly. "Heh," the boy would say. My. It must be my lucky day," Izuku would say. The lady would begin to run by Izuku out the alleyway. "It was nice meeting my favorite hero, but I've gotta go." Starting to phase away, Aizawa would rush at Izuku, activating his quirk to immobilize Izuku's quirk. However, Izuku would only lose one of his soul's quirks. Stopping Izuku from disappearing, Aizawa would begin to wrap his scarf around Izuku. Just then, the scarf is torn into bits, as Aizawa would see a dog with 3 heads. It would be Loki. Having to dodge, not being able to dodge, Aizawa would have to put his hands up, getting ready for the impact that he was about to take in. Loki would begin to burn Aizawa with flames coming out of his mouth. The fire shot at him. Then the dog would begin to dodge after having fire shot at the dog. "Thanks for the company," Aizawa would say, seeing the number 2 hero, Endeavor. Enji Todoroki, alias Endeavor. Age 45. Gender male. Quirk Hellflame. Endeavor would send fire at Izuku, phasing through him. A black fog would go out and knock Aizawa out. Endeavor would then shoot a flare at the sky, knowing if he produces an indirect fire, it could harm Aizawa. Izuku and Loki would jump Endeavor, smashing him into a building, as 2 new heroes would arrive. Toshinari Yagi, alias All Might, nickname Symbol of Peace, gender male, quirk One for All. Nurmi Kayama, alias Midnight, Nickname R-rated hero. Gender female. Quirk Somnambulous. Heh, too late. Izuku would begin to teleport away, seeing the number one hero and the R-rated hero. Just then, we would have to skip a week later, as the heroes would still be having trouble finding Izuku, as every little day run-ins would happen. As Izuku now would be at his house, walking towards the library. After getting dressed and leaving, he would enter the library and see a girl eating an apple while reading a book. Izuku would begin to continue sit next to her and read his book as well. And she'd talk to him saying, "What book are you reading?" As Izuku would just keep on reading. As the girl would keep on annoying Izuku. Oh. Till she told him. As Izuku would give in, saying, "I'm reading the 48 Powers of Law." As Izuku in this would be having very high intellect from a very young age, having an IQ of 180, almost that, like a rivaling Nezu type of, like his IQ overall was 180, but his battle IQ was on par with Nezu to no, better than Nezu, just by a bit though. Izuku would live alone, seeing that his mother died when he was young after giving birth to him. Now, let's say Izuku and this girl that we've now met with black hair would introduce herself as Shota Maria. She would be Shota Aizawa's daughter. But Izuku didn't know that. He only knew her first name. But Izuku would refer to her as Maria. So Izuku and her would finish up for the day, and Izuku would be walking back home. And while passing, he would see this girl getting bullied. As he knew who this girl was. She was All Might's daughter, Alice Yagi. And she had rumors going on all around her that she wasn't like fit to be All Might's daughter. She was a bad person. But obviously all these rumors were fake. So Alice would be in Izuku's class. That's how Izuku would know her. But Izuku wouldn't really talk to her ever. Until now. As Izuku wouldn't stand there. As Izuku would walk up. As there was two boys bullying her. One of them being Bakugo. And the other one being Bakugo's lackey. As Izuku would quickly knock them out. With delivering a swift punch to Bakugo, hitting him straight in the head, knocking him clean out, and kicking Bakugo's lackey to the wall with a direct judo kick. And yeah, so basically Izuku helps her and all is well, but she didn't want help from Izuku, as Izuku tried to extend his hand to help her get up, as she would slap it away, trying to be because Alice didn't have any bad rumors about her, but her personality, though, was really cocky, seeing that she was All Might's daughter. But Izuku wouldn't mind this, as later, I'm just gonna say this now, Izuku has W rays. Like, I'm talking about being a Shinigami allows you to just have soul rays. Like, you gain knowledge of every soul you take. So later he could become omnipotent to omnipotent if he gets like Isaac Newton's soul or something. But that'd be very difficult to find, right? So he would really begin to just try to raise her up so she'd at least talk to him. Those two would become friends that day, as Izuku would get her number and he would talk to her. As we'd skip a month, and Izuku goes to school. Izuku's 16, and it's the day of the end of school. So basically, Izuku's in class, and as as everything would go as normal, as the teacher would tell everybody that they have to do a assignment telling them what he wants to be in the future, as he'd throw the papers in the air, and all the students would begin to use their quirks, right? Also, Maria was in this class, but they didn't. Izuku and her would talk very often, just not at school, since Maria was like a popular girl for being known as Shota Aizawa's daughter, but Izuku never knew this. So, he would yada yada yada. Basically, before class ends and the bell rings for the end of the day, a man would walk in, being a detective. It would be the guy from the detective agency he has a like lie detector quirk, basically. As he would ask Izuku to come out of class, as it seems like as the hero have gotten enough intel to find out that Izuku is the Grim Reaper. As everybody in Bakugo would be laughing at Izuku, thinking he's in trouble. But as Izuku walked out of class, he would be smirking. I don't know the detective's name, but the detective talks like he asks Izuku straight up, "Are you the Grim Reaper?" As we have suspect that a villain has given us information. Oh no, not a villain, but we've gotten suspicion that you are the Grim Reaper. As Izuku would be, as he did say no, but the detective would automatically tell he was lying. As he would say, "I would like you to go to UA and stop your life of crime." As Izuku would say, "I must do what the heroes not. The heroes cannot." As he would say, "Don't trust everybody you meet, because even the devil was once an angel." As he would walk off Izuku back to class. We skip a month later, and Izuku would be preparing for UA. I'm not gonna talk about him meeting All Might and all of that, because it doesn't happen. Izuku would just absolutely destroy the sludge monster, so it wouldn't matter. So, after going home, Izuku would do everything regularly, and basically for a while, life would be boring until he'd get a knock at his door, as he would see the principal of UA. As he'd see, as Nezu would walk in with All Might, asking if Izuku's parents were home. As Izuku would say, "I don't have parents." As Nezu would say, "I'm sorry for your loss." And they would come in. Izuku would snap as tea would be placed on the table. And it seems like Nezu would just get down to business. As Izuku already had plans of becoming a hero, but he just was waiting for the right time. So Nezu would get straight down to business, saying, "We would like you to become a hero. We'll enter you into UA of recommendation by me on a full scholarship." As Izuku say, Nezu would say, "Or otherwise, we will have to apprehend you and take you to jail." As Izuku was beginning to laugh, saying, "You think you could take me to jail?" As the room would be filled with bloodlust, as all my endeavor would be falling to the ground. So would Nezu, being able to barely breathe, as you'd say. Yeah, right. I am the Grim Reaper. As Izuku's scythe would appear in his hand, as it would just disappear after a couple seconds. As he'd say, "Never think you are stronger than me." As Izuku would be very cocky as well, knowing that he is the strongest. He grew up thinking, knowing that he's the strongest. After a while, he would just be very cocky overall. But he'd realize that being cocky, there's a difference between being cocky and like knowing that you're like strong enough to back it up. He's not all bark and no bite. He's all bite but more bark. So basically, Izuku would say, you know what? I'll amuse you. As he said, I will go to UA. But if it does not suffice to my liking, then I will destroy it. As if I find any bad souls, I will take them and kill them. As Nezu would say, you will have to stop killing. You cannot kill them then. Because as heroes do not kill. As Izuku would say, from God's gift, I must purge this world of their sins. Because you heroes may look good on the outside, but those villains are just broken people. And I am here to either purge or take them. Their choice, their life. As Izuku would snap, as the tea would disappear, and as Nezu and Endeavor and All Might would leave. It'd be 2 months before the entrance exam, as we'd skip a month. Izuku would be training, and after going back to the library one day, he would see Mirai. I keep forgetting her name, but I'm just gonna say Mirai because it feels natural. So Mirai, whatever her name is, Mirai. So he would see her, and they would talk actually for a bit, and she'd be blushing a lot, seeing that Izuku's more toned and muscular now, as she'd see the muscle actually coming out of him, and she'd ask to go on a date. As Izuku would say, sure. As Izuku had trust issues. Izuku had lots of trust issues. Seeing that in his childhood, he was betrayed by everything. Even the one kid he loved. His creator. His own mother. As Izuku would put that at the back of his mind. As they go on their date that day. No, they go on a date the very next week. But during the date, Izuku and Mirai would run into Alice. As Alice would be bare jealous, as she'd say, as Izuku would invite her as well, seeing that he didn't think it was a date, just a friendly, hangout. So she would cling onto Izuku's arm, as Izuku would be just, smothered with, both the girls grabbing on his arm. As Izuku and the girls would walk to a restaurant and eat, while literally, I'm not even joking, all the other guys are just, jealous, bare jealous, as both the girls are really beautiful, but one of them has rumors against her, and the other one is not, that well known. So, it's kind of suspicious. But yeah, they go on their date, and during the date, Bakugo would actually be in, the restaurant as well, as he would notice Izuku, and he would come to punch him straight in the face, saying, I see, guys, I knew he wasn't that strong. There's no way this corkless loser could ever beat me. As he would look back at Izuku as he'd disappear. as Izuku would then raise his hand as he'd say, Yoing. As a big, black spear would form in his hand as it would as he bring it down, trapping Bakugo. And Bakugo would try to blow it up, but sooner or later, Bakugo would begin to lose air as Izuku would keep on compressing it, as the circle would grow, like the spear would grow smaller and smaller, as Bakugo would begin to get cramped in, losing air. And then Izuku would let go until Bakugo was knocked out, as all Bakugo's goons that were there as well would run away. As every little interaction, Izuku would just be happy that no one died. Because Izuku really, even though he was a Shinigami, like a Reaper, he didn't want people dying because he liked life. Like, life was a great thing. He loved living. But the thing is, even though he's a Reaper, he doesn't like love in a way because, like, since he's a Reaper, everybody that he loved would die sooner eventually. Seeing that when he does, he could take his own life, but he will be reborn into a different body with a new mother. And that's even worse. Seeing that Izuku's past life, he was betrayed by his lover, and now in this life, his mother died, even selling him to, his mother died, and his father would sell him to different people. Seeing that, he would become a slave until Izuku broke free. This is why Izuku has so much trust issues. And after a long time, Izuku had to go through therapy, but even that wasn't enough until he disappeared one day. And he began to live on his own, as that's where our story would start. And now let's skip to the entrance exam. Everything would go as normal for most part, but instead of Izuku taking the recommendation, he would take the classic way. He would score 94 on the written exam, not finding out all the different punctuations, but he would get most of the questions right except for 2. And then Izuku would go on to the practical. And here's the thing. The little interaction with Ida would never happen. Because Izuku, he can tell who people are. Because his eyes basically allow him to pierce into the person's soul. Reading if they're good, bad, if they have malice, or if they're good. That's the result of one of the quirks he took. And I'm going to just call that quirk. Let's just call it something random like the eyes of truth. So yeah, Izuku would tell that Ida is like a strict person and he's like very followed by the rules. As Izuku would use another quirk called "Shut the F Up," aka "Be Gone." As Izuku had this quirk would basically allow him to make any thought in a person's mind just disappear, making them completely forget. It's like erasing a memory almost. But instead of like an actual memory, it's a thought. So it doesn't give them the thought process of saying their mind telling them to say something or like to act out. No, it erases their opinion from existence. So Ida wouldn't even stand up. He would be more dizzy and confused because when the power took effect on him, like the quirk, he wouldn't realize it. So yeah, the practical would then begin. Izuku being assigned instead of block, like whatever block he's in the beginning, since Nezu knew that if Izuku actually got serious, he'd be placed in a block of his own. Like he'd destroy the block in one go. So Nezu thought it'd be a good bet to bet with the heroes that they put him in his own block. We're gonna call this block Z1. it turned it for some reason it had a number, not a let. It had a number and a letter, which confused everybody, seeing that there was only one participant there. As Izuku would say, "So you think I'm your little plaything?" As Izuku would be a little bit mad, but he would sigh as Izuku would transform into his Grim Reaper form, as a black goo would come out of him, as a hoodie would be built, as he'd have two gloves, and his scythe would come off his back, appearing in his hand, as 18 different bots would come at Izuku, all being one-pointers, as Izuku would deliver one good slice, as they'd be broken in a quick motion. As then he'd activate another quirk called Hell Flame. Similar to Endeavor's quirk, it was Endeavor's grandfather. And this quirk was a fire quirk just like Endeavor. But this one, since Izuku was a Grim Reaper, the powers of the quirk would be outputted, since Izuku had another quirk called Evolve, allowing the person to evolve from their previous self, also giving them newer capabilities. But since the owner only didn't have a second quirk, it was pretty much useless, only in upgrading their physical strength. So Izuku would evolve this quirk, giving it more power. It would turn into white and black flames, as Izuku would deliver lighting his fist on fire. He would deliver a crushing uppercut, destroying the two-pointer that came at him. As Izuku would say,